Okay, welcome, tech adventurers. I'm glad that you're here. um, I am excited to share all the things that I've learned about technology and AI today with you. We're going to cover a little bit of mindset, a little bit of history, a little bit of, hey, don't be afraid of it, and a whole lot of tools, how to get the most out of AI, how to use it, how to practice with it, and some things in setting up your office and working with your staff and what you should, what policies and procedures you should have in place to make sure that they're comfortable doing what you want them to do. So I will get going. I've got a lot of information to share. Toward the middle and the end of the presentation, we're going to practice some things. And I'm going to ask you to answer questions. Just take yourself off mute. And if we're talking over each other, we'll figure it out because I can't monitor the chat while I'm doing two screens. So this is called AI literacy, communicating with your AI bot. And that's a very intentional title in that we are learning a new language. And just like a baby learns a new language, they try out different words, they try out different syllables, and then they look at whoever they're trying to talk to see what their reaction is. They are communicating. We are humans communicating with technology and not the other way around. And I'm going to show you the best way to communicate with AI so that you can get the best outcomes. So the first thing we have to think about, as I mentioned earlier, it's like a baby, or we're learning something very brand new. And we need to take baby steps and not be frustrated if we don't get exactly what we want. And it's a new way of thinking. We are truly, literally rewiring our brain. So I'm assuming that there are some boomers on this call and that there are some Gen Xers and maybe some millennials, maybe even some Gen Z, but I'm not sure. If you are a boomer or an older Gen Xer, no, it's not even a Gen Xer, you have to be a boomer to remember growing up with the Dewey Decimal System. And then all of a sudden, that was in the 60s, 70s, and the beginning of the 80s. Then in the 80s, like 82, all of a sudden there's this thing called Google search. Dewey Decimal System was built around 10 categories. Everything we knew and all the books we found were in 10 categories. And that's how we thought about finding information. Then all of a sudden there's Google search. And we start putting words into this little search bar and see what comes up. And as we got better at it, we put long tail phrases. We put several words together to get what we wanted. And they were different ways of drawing information. In 2022, so only 3 years ago, there's this thing called ChatGPT. And we are no longer linear, going through a linear way of thinking. We're communicating. We're going to ask this AI assistant to give us what we want. It is a new way of thinking, and I'm going to show you a new language to do that. I'm not going to go through this in detail, but I will tell you that 1960s, the Dewey Decimal System, it was a logical, hierarchical way of thinking. Then when we had search, it was an associative. We associated phrases with what we wanted. And now we have a conversational way. It literally uses different parts of our brain. And as soon as we get to the point where we're practicing it and we're doing it more and more and more, we will be able to converse more and more and more, just as a baby learns language. So this is my grandson. I have a 10-month-old grandson, and he started to walk last week. And sure enough, we're cheering him on, and he's falling flat on his face. And as he's falling flat on his face, we all take a big gasp. Oh my gosh, he's going to cry. Nope. He stands up again, starts laughing, and takes a few more steps, stumbles, and now he can go a distance. I want all of you to agree today that's how you're going to approach AI. Today, I want you to make a commitment that you are going to fall. You are going to get up. You're going to smile because you're going to get outcomes. You are going to save time and money. And you're going to let go of the fear, oh my gosh, machines are taking over humans, because that's not the case. And we are going to approach this new way of thinking with try again, because we want to walk and run and save time and give ourselves time and our family time so that we get our business done and we also get our vacation done. Everybody okay with vacation? Give me a thumbs up. Oh, I went too far. So let's start out. I talked about letting go of the fear. Oh my gosh, in 2022, there's this thing called AI. The truth of the matter is, yay, Dawn, 2 thumbs up. You're already using AI. You just didn't know it. So how many of you have ever been rerouted by Google Maps because there was a traffic jam or there was a faster way to get there? Thumbs up, anyone? Anybody rerouted? That's AI. If you use Alexa or Siri, that's AI. If your bank has ever sent you a text, a fraud notice, or an email, that's AI. If Netflix has said, we think you might like this movie, that's AI. I'm going to show you the timing of those AI-empowered technologies that we've been using for years. We just didn't know it. So your fraud alerts started in 1980s. Netflix recommendations started in 2000. Spam filters, your Gmail and your Outlook that gets filtered into different boxes or priorities, that's AI. 2004. Google Maps, 2005. Siri and Alexa. Siri started in 2011. That's 11 years before ChatGPT. So you've been using AI for a long time. It's been in your life. But all of a sudden, when you feel like you have to talk to a machine, there's a little bit of fear. It's here to stay. The more we embrace it and we take control of it and take command of it, the better it will serve us. It will help us grow. It will help our businesses grow and our staff grow. So what is AI? You know, what is it? Back to the basics. It is a computer system that mimics. It isn't human intelligence. It mimics it. And the only way that it mimics it is because we give it data to mimic. So all of the input, everything we give AI is human. It's human input. Inside of all AIs is something called a large language model. Large LLMs have been around for a very long time. And like the late 50s, I think, is when they first started. They're designed for human-like conversations. They've been used in healthcare and in patient care, particularly patient care. In the 1980s, I worked for a hospital, and they used to have patient advocates, and they'd give you surveys, you know, how well are we doing, and are we treating you well? And then they would put this into an old-fashioned card data computer, and what it would spit out was through a large language model to give us results of those surveys. Built on top of the LLMs are extensive data sets. And depending on the data set that is put into the back end of an AI, tells you whether or not the kind of output you're going to get. So for example, what do I mean by that? Last year, H&R Block had its own tax AI. The data set that the LLM was built upon was information. It was a ChatGPT style, but the data set that it was given to give you answers came from the IRS. And that's why it was a very good tax user-friendly AI. So let me show you, there are several platforms, and we'll go past this, that you can use. I have all of these charts. You will have access to this PowerPoint. You'll have access to all the information. I just wanted to put it in here for those of you who like to see a lot of information. So ChatGPT, which is the one we know the most, And now Microsoft has Copilot, and there are lots of others, but haven't been around as long, and they're not as extensive as ChatGPT. It is best for day-to-day administrative tasks, how to get checklists for different things, how to help you plan a meeting, how even to plan an event. It's good for writing, but it's not as good as Claude. ChatGPT its data set is the internet. It pulls anything from the internet. However, it is trained to go to Wikipedia as its first source. If you don't want Wikipedia sources, you have to tell it, don't go to Wikipedia. And it'll go elsewhere, but that's where it goes first. Claude, which is a content writing AI, is great for any content you need. It's great. And it's built on journalistic story writing data sets, how to write. And that's why it's so good for content. Perplexity, which these are the top 3 that people use, is built on citing information. It pulls a little bit from review sites, but it's your analytical place. And when I say analytical, it goes as far as tell me all the reviews out there on H&R Block franchisees. What do people say about H&R Block franchisees in zip code, whatever your zip code is? What are the best restaurants to go to? It also can research tax information and those kinds of things, but it's best for citing sources, and it will tell you where it draws the information. TaxBert, which some of you may know and some of you may not, is built on the tax book, and you can buy it from the tax book. It is a paid for AI, and the information given into it are tax regulations, IRS, those kinds of things, and that's why it's good for tax professionals. ChatGPT also can pull some of that information. You just have to tell it to, and I'm going to tell you how to do that. Are there any questions about these platforms and how the data set it's based on has to do with the outcomes you'll get, and why you need different platforms for outcomes, different outcomes? Kevin, are there any questions?
No, there's just a couple comments about AMP and when the AI was available to us. But those have been answered. Nothing particular to what you're presenting currently.
Okay, and just know that June 1st, the AI that that you'd use during tax season is no longer available. I know they're making some changes, and I'm not sure what's going to be available, but that's not going to be available after June 1st. I did want to tell you something else. What did I want to tell you about that? So these are your different ones. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. I have done the free version of everything, and I now have a paid version of ChatGPT and Claude. They are $20 a month. Well worth it, particularly in Claude for content. The paid version gives you a lot better content, a lot better. So, and I'm guessing that those prices, I don't know whether you'll be grandfathered in at that, but I'm guessing at some point, as there are more platforms developed, that those prices probably will go up.
Hey, Terry, someone's asking how you actually access Claude and Perplexity.
So Claude is Claude, CLAUDE.ai. Perplexity, I would just Google it. It'll take you there. Okay, so that's all the background I wanted you to have. I think it's important to have a little context, a little framework before we get going. Where to begin? Before you even start playing around, you and your staff, it's really important to figure out, how do you want to operate in your office? And the reason it's important is because everybody in your office is going to wonder, what can we do? What can we not do? What platforms can we use? What platforms can we not use? What's allowed? Will we do it in the office? So it's really important, even if it's a very simple standard operating procedure, to be forward thinking and be tech informed to put together some sort of an operating procedure for your office. I will tell you after today, when I teach you prompts, you should be able to go into ChatGPT, give it the directions, and ask it to write an SOP for you. So you need to decide what are your parameters. Define whether or not you're going to allow client-facing AI. Are you going to allow you and your tax professionals to use AI while you're working with clients? I would suggest probably not at this point, that I would keep it internal and as learning. Define which platforms are permissible. Some of that may or may not be dictated by H&R Block. Create rules around client data usage. Particularly, I highly, highly recommend that part of your standard operating procedure is that no client details can be put in to ChatGPT, that you keep it generic. You might use a client name for an email, but you don't want to be putting in any social security numbers or any financial numbers or anything like that. That most platforms are open source, meaning that when you put it in, it can be used as part of the next person, whomever draws from it, as part of the information. I'm going to show you security in ChatGPT where you can turn off the open source part for ChatGPT. But I was just in Copilot today, and Copilot does not have that security measure right now. There it again, do not paste client specifics into AI training. I would suggest that if you find value in this, that you have your staff review this recording. Your security and privacy musts that are really important to you in your office. So another thing you might do is in the FCA chat, say, I was thinking about this being my security and privacy parameters for my SOP for AI. What have you all used? What have you thought about it? Or whether I have any blind spots, did I miss anything? So use FCA members to make sure that you have a thorough sort of parameter about what you want to use in your office. Okay, we are going to go into ChatGPT because I want to show you where there are some security settings that you can do. If you already have ChatGPT, I would suggest that you open it up. If you don't, it will take too long to set it up, and you'll have to rewatch this part of the training to see how to do it if you decide that that's something that you will use. Okay, can you see ChatGPT now?
Yes.
All right, great. I have mine all set up, but when I go into, come here, there we are. Over here where it's got my little icon of who I am, that's where my settings are. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go to settings. Under settings, I'm going to go to data controls. Right here, improve the model for everyone. That means you're allowing it to be an open source. It's a little sneaky way that they write that, but you can see that mine says off. So anything that I put into my ChatGPT will not be shared as an open source. So I've already set that little bit of privacy and security. Then we're going to go into personalization. This is how I get ChatGPT. The more I use it, the better it sounds and the more it acts like me. Because I've given it under customization instructions. What is my name? What can you call me? What do I do? What's the name of my business? What are the traits that ChatGPT should have? So this is kind of my style guide. I want you to use complete sentences using AP style. I go on to say I'm friendly. I like it to be a friendly, casual way of talking. I prefer using headings, subheads, bullet points, lists, and summaries to make it easy for reading. And I go in and give it all sorts of instructions so that each time I have a new chat, because I've enabled this for all chats, all new chats, it already knows this is my name, this is the kind of business, and this is how I want the output. So you can already start training your AI assistant in ChatGPT. It's a little bit more difficult than some of the other platforms. If you decide that you want to use those other platforms and you want a little assistance, I'm not really wanting to have my email flooded, but if you want a little bit of assistance, I can help you depending on what you want to do. This is why I like ChatGPT, because it does give you some privacy settings. Okay, we're going to go back to, do you see the security setup again?
No, it's on the screen. Where should we begin?
Share.
There we go. Now we're on the security setup screen.
There we go. Okay, great. Thank you. All right, this is what so for those of you who couldn't do it with us, I've already circled this and you'll be able to see this in the PowerPoint. That'll be on our website. Okay, here's the big fun stuff coming up. Quality in is quality out. And once again, please understand, it's quality human input that equals quality computer output. Without the human input, there is no output. So the way that we best communicate is by having a mindset of how we're going to onboard our AI assistant. And I'm going to ask you to think of your AI assistant as a 10-year-old savant. So being a savant, it's very, very intelligent, has access to a lot of knowledge, but it's 10 years old. A 10-year-old child needs clarity and guidance. The more context you give it, the better the results. So for example, if you were to say, please help me with the taxes. AI didn't know what this is. I am a tax professional working with a client who is self-employed in Florida, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you explain the context of what that is. If you give a detailed example, you're going to get a better output. When you give the example and how you give the example, it's called a prompt. Even in AI, we have a new language and new words to learn. I am suggesting, recommending, and hoping that you will get used to using this prompt framework. RCRQQ. What role do you want the AI assistant to take? What is the context of what you want? What is the request? What kind of quality output? That's more your style guide, the voice. Do you want bullet points? Do you want a letter? What do you want it to look like? And always, 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 did I say always? Always finish your prompt with, please ask any questions for clarity. AI will come back if it doesn't understand or you're brand new, particularly if it doesn't know you well, and it will ask you a bunch of questions so that it can answer better. If you don't ask it to ask questions, it won't ask questions. It'll spit something out. When you ask it to ask you questions, sometimes it's very in-depth and you might not have the information at your fingertips and you might not want to go digging for it. It's okay in your response to the questions to say, I don't have it right now, or don't worry about it. So you talk to it as if it's your assistant. And if you have the answer, give it the answer. Okay, here we go, guys. I'm going to show you prompts. There are two different kinds of prompts that I want you to leave here knowing a little bit about. And then we're going to practice it. We're going to do it in real time. So here's your RCRQQ framework. The role. I would like you to act as a client services specialist, an IRS auditor, or maybe a world-class tax pro. Perhaps you want to ask it to act as a Fortune 500 HR executive or an expert financial executive recruiter. Can you see how all those examples I've given you there might apply to different things that you might be doing, the tasks you might be doing in preparation for the next tax season? If you're looking for or setting up new job descriptions, or you're looking for where you might find some part-time pros or kinds of things, I want you to act as an expert financial executive recruiter. So as soon as you tell it how to act, that's how it will act. If you have your favorite financial executive recruiter firm, put it in there. I'd like you to act as an executive financial recruiter with whatever the firm's name is. Or I'd like you to act, say you wanted some personal growth for your people. I'd like you to act as a motivator like Tony Robbins. So if you give it a person to act like, it will pull that information, and that's how it will respond. If there's a book that you like that has great information, you might say, I'd like you to act like the author of this book in providing this information. Those are great guardrails for asking it to be a certain role. Then the context. I put this in on purpose just for you guys. Kevin, I'm training a new tax pro to use Go systems. I need your help. It will go out and figure out what Go systems is and come back with a checklist. Request. So I generate a 30-minute training guide with 5 next step learning practice action steps on Go systems for a brand new tax pro. Please include whatever. Quality. Make it user-friendly for a high schooler to understand. This is really important here. Absolutely no M dashes. An M dash is dash dash. So if you see an email or something from one of your tax pros or your client serves and there's a whole bunch of dash dashes, they didn't read over it. They went into chat, an AI bot, copied and pasted it. That's a telltale sign. I don't know why, but that's what it does. Another thing you might tell if you're looking for maybe marketing examples or something, or you're looking for testimonial guides, you might say, absolutely do not make up any stories. Sometimes ChatGPT will make up stories, and you want it to be factual, facts only. So if you're something that's really important to you, put it in all caps and put it either at the beginning of your prompt or at the end of your prompt. I tend to put mine at the end. And then your question, please ask any clarifying questions. I kid you not, everyone, this works. This works. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. At first, it feels real clumsy, but it gets better and better and better. Now, if you don't know how to write a prompt or you forget this, you can go into ChatGPT and say, please write a prompt for me that includes role, context, request, quality, and question regarding whatever it is, whatever your topic is. It'll help you. Okay, there are 2 kinds of prompts that I want us to get used to writing. One is the one-off that we just went over, okay? It's for a single task or a single message. It's not something that you're going to use all the time. An example is to write a reminder to complete form 8878. So, you want an authorization. Then there's the repeatable prompts. I cannot tell you how much time and energy you will save once you learn more about repeatable prompts. This is something that happens over and over again. Okay, so say an example is every Monday, create follow-up lists for clients missing documents. Where the biggest difference, and I'm going to show you a sample prompt that's repeatable, is you will upload documents. You will give it information with which to draw each time, that repeatable prompt. So one-off prompt examples might be explain capital gains to a layperson. Draft a checklist for onboarding a new admin. Make a market analysis of what's going on in the zip code. Opportunities to sponsor youth sports in your zip code. So you go in and, the role is, I'd like you to be a new entrepreneur in my community. You have experience in marketing, particularly community marketing. You think it's important to get involved in the community so that you can be seen. Context is, I'm going to be doing more whatever marketing in my area. Request, please list 10 to 12 opportunities to sponsor youth sports teams in zip code, whatever. What do you want it to look like? I just want a plain list, bullet point it. Please ask any clarifying questions. Okay, we're going to use this framework. Is Melissa on the call? Kevin, do you know?
I don't think she was going to be.
Okay. Well, I'd asked the board to give me examples of something that they had done, and she needed an example of a separation notice and used it. So we're going to go in, we're going to switch over to ChatGPT, and I'm going to show you in real time how this works. Anybody have any questions thus far? Okay, you see ChatGPT? Okay, so R, the role. I suggest right now, while you're working on doing really quality prompts, that you write out role, context, that you write it out. Once you get really good at it, ChatGPT doesn't need this, need the headline, but it helps you in training and rewiring your brain. So role, you are an expert in human resource and financial law. You understand how to apply the law in a way that is kind yet firm. I don't know, making this up, okay? Okay, so what did I do? I hit the enter button, and you can say, great, I'm ready to, so you can see right away it says, please share, what do you want? So I hit enter instead of shift. So it's always nice to be nice. Thank you, chat. Well, my chat GPT has a name, so I'm going to call it CC. It's Curious Cow. We're friendly. I will continue with my prompt. Okay, I'm going to stop right here. There is an app called Whisperflow. I will put it in the chat when we have question and answer. When you download Whisperflow, you do not have to type. I'm more comfortable typing, but you can dictate all this, and then you just push a button, and it turns into the message. And it's very efficient for people who don't want to type. And all you have to do is talk. It's a great app, and it's free. Okay, so the context. The context is, I don't know, I have a seasonal employee who did not work out this season. I need to send a letter or email letting Go. Okay, there's the context, then the request is please draft a kind yet firm email. Context, quality. Please use a professional tone with full sentences that are grammatically correct and question. Please ask any clarifying questions. Okay. And here come the clarifying questions. So this is the beauty of it, right? I didn't think of everything, but in order to get exactly what you wanted, it's saying, why is it, what's the specific reason for not continuing? What was the employment status? What about the final paycheck? Are you going to give it to them or not give it to them? Is there, what are your tone preferences? Is it from you or is it from your organization? Are there any legal compliance needs? Once I have this information, I'll craft a concise professional email that aligns with your expectations and responsibilities as an employer. Now, if I were going to answer those questions, I would do 1 period answer, 2 period answer. So I would go through it that way. You don't have to, it just keeps my mind. You answer those questions and the email will be drafted. Isn't that interesting? Would you guys have thought about all those questions? But it becomes very thorough. That's why it's your AI assistant. Information in, output equals good output. Okay, let's start a new chat. I'm gonna go in here and we're going to start a new chat. And I would like you to tell me, give me something, a one-off project you'd like help with for business. You can also, there's a lot of personal things. It can do recipes for you. You can show it a picture of your pantry and ask it to come up with a dinner plan for, based on those ingredients. There's all sorts of things you can ask, but let's stay with business. Let's create a one-off prompt. You can either put
client
what? Go ahead, Kevin.
I was going to say a client engagement letter for business services.
A client engagement letter. Okay. So what role do you want ChatGPT to play, Kevin?
Oh, you're going to ask me 20 questions here. I was just giving you an idea, Terry.
Okay. We're going to write a client engagement letter. So Tony, I know you're on. What role do you want ChatGPT to play?
Let's do business owner.
Business owner. Okay. You are is it a franchisee business owner or anything?
Franchisee business, yeah.
You are an H and R block franchisee Terry business owner. Okay. Context. What kind of a business or what kind of a client are you engaging?
Another business owner.
Okay. Another business owner in town has asked me to work with them in what are you doing for them?
Payroll and bookkeeping.
Payroll and bookkeeping. Okay, request. Please create a client. What did you call it?
Engagement letter.
For me. Okay. Quality. What do you want it to look like? What do you want it to sound like?
Professional and concise.
Please write this in a professional and concise manner. And always, please ask any clarifying questions. All right, let's see what happens. Now, I will tell you that it's probably, I will show you the letter, but it will have some of my voice in it because of what I showed you in the back end. Okay, so 1, will you be handling both payroll and bookkeeping?
Both.
Yes. So you don't have to, oh, I guess you could say both. 2, will you manage tax filings, direct deposits, whatever that, etc.?
Be yes, tax filings, direct deposits, and payroll tax payments, all the above.
Yes, all of the above. Bookkeeping platform.
We'll say 0.
Okay. 0. Terms of engagement, monthly or only?
Monthly rate.
Is there any kind of confidentiality or non-compete clause? Oh, where's 5? Oh, what did I leave off? A monthly rate is fine. Okay, and then 6 is, do you need to include a confidentiality language?
Put in a non-compete.
Non-compete. Okay, so that's how simple you can answer those questions because it remembers what it asked you. So it tells you what's it going to do. It tells you how to write the letter, puts this together, has your scope of services, has your fees and terms. Oh, still writing. Non-compete, if it's acceptable, etc. Okay, so we're going to make it so yay, it's great, whatever. However, because in the background, remember I told you I liked the subheads? You don't want subheads. So thanks. I appreciate that you used subheads. Sorry, I didn't tell you to make this in a letter paragraph form. Please do that now. And now you've got your letter. Now, obviously, if you go through it, you need to read and you need to make sure that it's accurate and everything if you wanted to make any other changes. So once you have this, oh, it's still writing. When you come down here, see the little copy thing? Copy it, and I can paste it in my letterhead. How many of you think that you might be able to use that to save time? Okay, we've got 15 minutes, so I'm going to go quickly. We may not do the example of a repeatable, and I can do that. I don't know, we'll figure maybe I'll do a repeatable one on our June meeting, but your repeatable, oh, come on. Prompts, can you see the PowerPoint again?
Yep.
Okay, so your repeatable prompts are things that you do over and over and over again. So like templates for sending in documents and whatever those kinds of things, the tasks that you do all the time. If you Go to meetings. Say you personally are on a board and you're the secretary. So you can do it, you can feed in a recording of the minutes and it will write the minutes for you, the notes. So what you do, the difference in the prompt is that you'll have inputs. So you'll have whatever the project name is, if it needs a name, the goal, the features, but most important, it's the document uploads. Will you be uploading an Excel file? Will you, if you want to do data analysis? So say you want to have your monthly numbers analyzed so that you can see the trends, and you just put in your Excel sheet or however you download from the software. You can put in recordings, you can put in PDFs, whatever it is that you want analyzed or done. When you have a repeatable prompt, you'll have an input. And then the role is you are helping me with monthly minutes from my role on the board of NABO. I happen to be on the role on a NABO board. Every time you use this prompt, I will provide the following inputs. So tell it what you're going to provide. Output. Based on that, I want you to generate minutes. So one of the inputs I would have put in there is an agenda. And I would say, I want you to generate minutes based on the agenda in this format. So I would tell it the format that I want the minutes. Same thing with notes or whatever you're looking for. What's the format? Make sure that it's friendly, that the sentences aren't too long, and that it's easy to read. Please ask any clarifying questions. So the difference between a one-off and a repeatable is a repeatable generally has inputs, and the inputs will change. It's the same type of project, but it might be a different recording or a different client name or whatever it is that you would be putting in order to get the output of a specific to this instance, but the type of event it is repeatable. So here's an example. Act as a client care coordinator for a tax office. You are helping me write weekly email reminders to clients who have not yet submitted their tax documents. Considerations. Every time I use this, I will provide the client name, a list of the missing documents, and the deadline and due dates. Output. Based on those considerations, please write a friendly reminder email that includes what's missing, the due date, and a link to the upload documents. Style and tone, make sure it sounds warm and professional. If anything is missing, ask me for it first. Please ask any clarifying questions. Then what you do with that prompt is you have a Google Doc or wherever you keep things on your computer, is when you know that you're looking for your weekly email reminder, you just copy that prompt and put it into ChatGPT. And it spits out your letter, you copy the letter and send it. So what took you an hour should take you about 5 minutes. Okay, we're not going to do this because I don't think we have enough time to do this. I did want to get to, so a couple weeks ago, I had ChatGPT analyze a Excel spreadsheet for me. I had the names of several businesses, and I had the their website links, and I wanted him to go in and get the names and emails of the executive directors. And it kept going outside of my Excel spreadsheet and grabbing stuff from the internet. I mean, all sorts of weird stuff came in. I was getting so frustrated. So in caps, I said, I'm confused. Why are you going outside of my Excel spreadsheet? Please tell me what I need to tell you so you don't do that. It told me what to do. And in that prompt, I did it and I got my project done. So for clarification, here are some phrases that you can use. I'm not sure about, so I will give you an example. I think I told you earlier, or maybe I didn't. So I was rewriting some of my branding stuff and we came up with a new title, and I wasn't sure I loved the new title. So I said, I'm not sure about that new title. Can you explain your thinking here? And it went through word by word and explained. And I went, oh, aha, this is fabulous, because I could not only have a new title, but I had something to talk about. It gave me marketing points in explaining what it was thinking. So you can get more in depth by asking, what are you explaining? I'm a little frustrated. This isn't quite what I want. Let me explain what's in my head. And that's where you just type, not even worried about whether or not you're spelling it correctly, because it will pull out the more information. Can you make this super easy? Those are the kinds of things. Here's one of my favorite, if you want it to go deeper. I need to go deeper on the topic of, ask me 5 questions like you're interviewing me for a research paper. So if you don't know how to give it enough information, ask it to interview you. It'll ask you questions, you put in the responses, and you'll get the output that you want. Let's think this through. What questions would you ask me to make sure we're not missing anything important? Again, I go back to, it's not about replacing humans. It's a tool to enhance your capabilities, not replace your judgment. The better you communicate with it, the better it will give you what you want. It's no different than your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your special someone that you're emotionally charged and you're not communicating well. If you can calm down and communicate with it, you'll get better results. It's the same thing with AI. The better you communicate and the more you practice it, the better outcomes. The goal of an AI assistant is to create a productive partnership that saves you time and energy. Not practice makes perfect, but practice makes permanent. It makes a habit. So here's what I challenge you to do, is to write a one-off prompt for yourself this week, to write a repeatable prompt for your team, and draft a 3-bullet AI office policy. You don't have to master it. You just need to try it. And you agreed at the beginning that when you fell down, you'd laugh, stand up with a big smile, and try again. Okay, I wanted to leave some time for questions. Let's see. First of all, tell me, was this helpful? Did everybody get a nugget or two?
Yes, this was very
100%.
helpful. And I've used ChatGPT while you were doing that letter of engagement with Kevin's prompt. I did the lazy prompt that I would normally do, and I came up with like about 80% of what you did. I did the create a letter, like just type out a little paragraph. I didn't get fancy, but I can only imagine that using the process that you outlined can only make that much better.
Yeah.
I mean, the lazy one spit out a good one.
I went back and realized I started using this the beginning of 2023. I didn't realize I'd had prompts that far. And it was just, the conversations. And since I've started using this prompt format, they get so much better. And also by training it, telling what I want ahead of time. And so it knows me and those kinds of things. Did you say if there was a charge to use it or free? So there's a free version of everything. It's not as good as the paid version. I think they're all about $20 a month. So I pay $20 a month for ChatGPT and $20 a month for Claude. And then I don't know, Kevin, do you know what the cost is for TechSpert?
They posted it in the chat. It was like a premium subscription. If you get the web library, it's $349 for all of it a year. So that's for like, if you buy the books, you can do an annual subscription and then you pay a premium amount and then you get TaxBird along with it. I don't know what the difference between the two. I want to say it was like $100 or $150 upcharge to do that, but I don't quote me on that at all.
And I don't know, is it $20 per computer? I would guess it's
assume it would be user.
$20 per login.
Yeah, I would assume it's per user. Yeah.
Well, per login, right? So if I were to say, do you want to try it out? Kevin, here's my login. Then it would send me a code. I gave you the code, then you probably could use it. But it's going to be $20 per, yeah. Oh, I don't know about TaxBird. I think that they're trying to do some sort of arrangement with our H&R Block, aren't they?
That's what I was given to understand. They're working on, because we already have access to the tax book and all of its features through Block. So I think they're right now trying to negotiate so that we can have access to that.
I know that there was a pilot. That's about as much as I know.
Yep.
And
same, like we're all kind of like, maybe.
yeah,
I don't know yet.
I know there's people, powers that be are working on it together. What that means, I don't know.
So I will tell you, are there any people on this call that feel like you're advanced users and that this was, been there, done that, you're ready for more? Okay, so you can, I don't see any yeses or anything in the, I will tell you that there are advanced versions. So not versions of the platforms, but there's a whole lot more you can do and setting up a back end. And I am learning it and it makes a huge difference. I have a brand guide in Claude that it's like having my own ad agency. And I've got a sales assistant. So there's a lot of things that can be done. It's more what you have to get used to using it. You have to be open to it. There are more ways. Again, the input in the back end is how you get the output on the front end. And so take what you've learned today and get better at it. And you don't need code. I mean, the whole idea of an LLM is that you don't need to code, that it's done and anybody can do it. It's just the formats of what you put in the back end. So when we're ready for 2.0, we'll do that maybe next year. So I would be honored if everyone on this call was able to use ChatGPT or some sort of AI in the next few months and you found it valuable so that it could increase your efficiency and productivity in the upcoming year. I'll stand for another moment if there are any questions. It is 3 o'clock, so we like to respect your time and let you go. Thank you for joining me today.
Hey, Terry, thank you for putting this together. It was very helpful. I was very excited about this and I got a ton out of it and I appreciate you more than you know.
Oh, thank you. The recording and the PowerPoint will be up on our website tomorrow. So everyone, have a great rest of your week.
Thank
Be
you,
well.
Terry.
Happy Memorial Day.
Thank you.